don't know about you, but it always seems like whenever there's an update, whether it's your phone, work computer, iPad, laptop, whatever it is, it always seems like when there's an update that something isn't working like it should. So, I'm new to YouTube. I've got about 30 videos on there. Um, but I've been on Rumble for almost 3 years. And for whatever reason, the comments are showing up correctly on YouTube. I just haven't had time to respond to all of them. But for whatever reason on Rumble, I can't see the comments. It shows that there's comments, except for they don't really show up. So I don't know what's going on. It'll all get worked out. But I know that updates many times are just frustrating. So it really got me thinking about us as believers. And it's a really great thing that we get updated, isn't it? So that we can become more sanctified, more Christ-like by the renewing of our minds, by throwing out some things that we used to do, becoming more sanctified, becoming more Christ-like. So it says this in Romans 12, 1 and 2, it says this, I appeal to you, therefore, brothers and sisters, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. So I wanted to tell you about something that's coming up, and this all stemmed from a conversation, and I am honestly a little bit hesitant because once again, it will be me not speaking complimentary of the church. And I'm not very complimentary of the church. I think the church is more focused, most of them, on, hey, let's build a brand new gymnasium so the kids that come for youth group have a place to play basketball. But are they really taking care of the widows, the orphans? Are they feeding the homeless, sheltering the homeless? And so I'm not very complimentary about the state of the church as it is for most places. I'm also, if you hear me say many times, that the pastors don't read the scriptures, and this is true as well. And so in order to share with you what I'm going to share with you, again, it means me talking about something that the church hasn't done. And I don't always want to be just church bashing. That isn't my desire. But I think if we had pastors actually reading the scriptures, I think then that we would be in a different circumstance. So here's what we're going to talk about. So has your pastor ever explained to you? And I feel like if anybody says yes, then I would give them $1,000. Now, not really, but I don't know anybody that's going to say yes to this. Has your pastor ever explained to you why God seems so loving and kind in the New Testament, but yet like an ogre and so cruel in the Old Testament? Has any pastor ever explained that to you? And so here's where you're going to go, well, no, and I've been confused about that because scripture says that God cannot change. So how do we then, as believers, how do we make sense of that? So if there is a contradiction in scripture, then we have to figure out what God says in his word. And so we're going to take 3, 4, maybe 5 videos to go through that. That will be coming up. And so because I had this conversation with someone, we're going to talk about this. And I think when you see what the scripture says, I think it will all make sense. I know for me, when I am studying and I'm trying to figure things out, that once I have it, it just all the pieces fall into place. And so we really need to figure out why does God seem so loving in the New Testament, but just so cruel in the Old? And we need to look at that. And so we're going to talk about that. And that is coming up. I've got quite a few videos ready for you, but that's coming up as well. So armor up, we ride at dawn. May God bless you as always. Have a great day.